Distracted mind is an unhappy mind. And we all want to get rid of this distraction. But how? That we will try to find out in this video. So let's dive in and make sure you watch it till the end.
इंस्पायर्ड जीवन की दुनिया में आपका स्वागत है मेरे दोस्त.
Namaste, you are listening to Shakti Savarn. I'm a proud teacher and a budding entrepreneur. Distractions. This is one of the most trending word in this social media era. But what exactly does this mean? Distraction as a word is being originated from two other words, dis and trahere. Dis means to apart and trahere means to drag. What's the actual meaning? That whatever work you are doing, whatever task you are doing, when you get dragged from that task, you are tend to be distracted. You are not willing to move, but something triggers you to move, to drag out from that task. That is called distractions. What is dragging you? Is it something from external sources or is it something from the internal sources? To understand this, let's take help from one of the researchers. In this research, 16 students were selected, and those students were asked to sit in a room where there was nothing. The room was quite a silent place. There was no phone, there was no mobile, there was no paper, no pen, there was nothing at all, just a chair, and there was a button kept. And the students were asked to sit there for 20-25 minutes, and if you feel bored, just click that button. And the catch in the activity was that button, when you click the button, you will get an electric shock. That means, along with removing the distractions, those students were provided with negative stimuli. That is, if you try to exit the task, you will get some pain. And the result of the activity was shocking. 12 out of 16 students, they clicked the bell within 15 minutes of the activity. What does that mean? That 67% of the students were not able to sit for 20-25 minutes without doing anything, sitting alone with themselves. Because they had the authority, they had the right to think whatever they want to think. But they were not able to survive after 15 minutes. The experiment was repeated many times to make it a sure sort experiment. But this is just the upper part of the experiment. The real finding of the experiment was, although every day we hear that the source of distraction is the external, the social media, our environment, our posture, yes, these factors play a very vital role. But almost all the distractions which we have is sourced from internal triggers. It's inside out. Nir Ayal, a very famous psychologist, he tells every distraction is preceded by a situation of discomfort, by a feeling of unhappiness. Let's take some example to understand this. When we are studying something, we tend to get distracted as soon as we get some difficult topic. Our mind starts to say, let's take a break. We were in a situation of discomfort at this particular time when we started learning something new. Now, while we are sitting alone, we tend to get distracted. Why? Because as we sit alone and start talking to ourselves, our mind starts shouting at us that you are not doing enough what you must do to make your life beautiful. You are not studying enough. You are not contributing enough in the project which you are involved in. You are not working you're not working enough as an entrepreneur or whatever you feel you are in. And that makes ourselves uncomfortable, and that's why we get distracted from sitting alone. So now the next question which comes, why do we exactly distract? We understood distraction, we understood that the trigger is from internal. Now the third question is, why do we exactly distract? Now the earlier psychologists used what they found out was that since our mind always crave for pleasures, we tend to distract. In studying, there is very less triggers, there is very less rewards, pleasures. That is why we get distracted. While reading some positive mental attitude books, the triggers are very less, and that's how we tend to get distracted. That was the earlier theory. But recent studies led by Nir Ayal and some other psychologists, it states that before our mind looks for some pleasure, it always looks to avoid pain, and that distracts us. And that is what happens. I took the example of studying. Over there, as soon as the difficult concept came, our mind tries to avoid this pain of learning something difficult. So that is why we distract, because our mind is always looking to avoid pain. And that is what happened with those 12 students. As soon as they get bored, that situation was so uncomfortable for them that they chose to get an electric shock to come out of that boring situation. When I read about this research, I thought I must try it on myself as well. And I tried it 3 times, although I was not able to arrange the negative stimuli, but still I did it with a timer in hand. I set a 25 minutes timer. I did this 3 times in 3 different situations. Now the first situation was, since I promised that from January month to the next January, every month we'll be tracking something. So I was on a 10-day dopamine detox. What do we mean by dopamine detox? Dopamine is a hormone which is released from our body whenever we seek some pleasure. When we scroll on social media, dopamine is released. When we eat chocolate, when we eat sugar, dopamine is released. Whatever we feel excited about, dopamine is released. Dopamine is a very good hormone in our body, but since when we are not in control of that, it becomes very dangerous. And that is why I tried to go for a dopamine detox. Dopamine detox simply means try to avoid dopamine as much as possible. No chocolates, no social media for 10 days, and no movies, no YouTube, no videos, nothing at all. I was on that journey and I completed that journey successfully, and the results of that was super powerful. In those 10 days, I felt myself every day. I was able to talk to myself. I talked about the discomfort of talking to myself. I faced that discomfort as well. Now, after this dopamine detox, I tried this activity, the experiment, that sitting for 25 minutes. That was situation number 1. I will explain all the 3 situations, then I will explain the results of what happened in those situations with this experiment. In the second situation was generally Wednesdays are very tiring day as far as my routine is concerned. So Wednesdays I'm very much tired by the end of the day around 9:30. So after a very tiring day, I thought, let's try this experiment. Let's try that if I'm able to finish this experiment with when my physical body is very tired. Am I able to work on my mental body if I'm not physically active enough? That was the second situation. The third situation was, now while I was on dopamine detox, I found it very amazing. But I got an idea. If I am trying to teach distraction to somebody, I must understand how much frustrated we become when we are actually very much distracted. And that's how I decided to understand that frustrations. I decided it on February 21st that I will be going on a 7-day distraction journey, completely distracted. Now, before that, it was dopamine detox, no distractions at all. Now, this was a complete distraction journey because I wanted to see the frustration, what I get. But I would like to say, in 3 days, I gave up. Because I got so much scared that what if it takes longer time for me to come back on track. Now what happened was, on the first day, I was distracted. The second day, the impact was not that much. But on the second day, I was so much distracted because that was the plan, to be distracted. So I did not plan anything. I was scrolling on social media. I forgot to do evening puja. I forgot to even wash my dishes after eating and everything. The next morning, I was almost very late to school. From morning 3 to 6, I do some of my own studies. I wasn't able to do it at all on the third day. Now I started to get very, very much irritated. What is happening? On the third day, similar things happened. Now after 3 days, the fourth day, when I went to job, our teachers around me told, you are not looking that active as a person. Now that kicked me because I am a very expressive person. Whatever I am inside, everybody can see that. I'm happy, I'm very much enthusiastic, I'm walking with confidence. Everybody can see that. I don't know, that's God gift. I'm very much expressive. But when that expressiveness led me to a negative comment on my energy, I was like, no, this experiment could damage some things in me. So I stopped that at the end of the third day. Fourth day, I tried to regain back, but it's still somewhat distracted. Now on the third day, I performed this activity. Now coming to the results. The first one, dopamine detox, when I sat for 25 minutes, I closed my eyes. I was so very much happy. There was very amazing thought because for the 1 week, there were no distractions at all. The thoughts which came in my mind was really fresh, was really very motivating for me. Whatever I've planned for my life, everything was rewinding. The journey which I am on, everything was sorting out. It was kind of an analysis for 25 minutes, and I really enjoyed that 25 minutes, and I completed that. I was super proud that I am at least in the right track to where I want to reach. The second situation. Now, the first situation was the best of all the three. Now, you could have guessed it already. The second situation, when I was completely tired, and it was during the dopamine detox time. Okay, on the seventh day, I did this dopamine detox after, and around 8th or 9th day, it was along with tiredness. Now, what happened? I sat around 9:30. There's a photo you can see at 9:30 in the night. I switched off the light. Everything was switched off. There was no distractions at all. Phone was on switch off. Only there was a 25-minute alarm. So even in switch off, the alarm will come on. Now after when I sat down, because I was tired, my mind was distracted, and I don't know. In 10-12 minutes, I slept. I woke up in the morning directly. So that was the result in the second case. That means when we are not physically active enough, the distractions could come in different variety. Sleep is also a distraction when I have planned some activity, right? Coming on to the third situation, my goodness, that was the worst of all. I somehow managed to finish that 25-minute timer. Probably that could be because in my mind there was a goal that I have to speak in front, so probably I should not get ashamed that I was not able to complete. That could have triggered, but it was very, very difficult. 2 days, almost 3 days of complete distraction, and I'm doing this activity. Oh my goodness. The ideas, the thinking which was coming in my mind, it was completely rubbish. Whatever there on the social media, I was seeing. Cannot even explain it. I got so much scared. What is happening to Shakti Savarn? And I decided on third day itself, as I told, the main thing came after the fourth day comments, but the trigger started from here. Now I can just think about the people who are in this distraction loop for a month, for 2 months, for the complete lockdown. I can just pray to God that please give them some idea to get rid of that. I'll be giving some obviously ideas. I hope that they watch this video, because I was really very frustrated in 3 days itself. I cannot imagine how would they be feeling after 1 year or 1 month or even 10 days of complete distractions. God bless them. Now, with this activity, you can also understand how is your situation when it comes to distraction. Are you able to finish this 25-minute timer? 25-minute experiment. You can try it with the timer. Just set a timer, just switch off all the lights, sit calmly in on one corner of the room. I sat in one of the corner of my room. There was nothing, even the curtains were locked. It was like curtains was locked. I'm sitting there. So that was really awesome. You can sit in a corner and try if you can at least sit alone with yourself for 25 minutes. Do not move at all. No water, no washroom, nothing. You will understand where are you exactly when it comes to your internal triggers of distractions. Now, when these all things are understood, how can we reduce distraction? We know you all, since you are watching this video, I'm very much sure that you are trying to get rid of this distraction, and you are already halfway ahead of many others who don't know that they are distracted. So I must congratulate you for coming this far in the video. And after this, I'll be sharing you two different variety of ways. Number one, what daily changes can we do, and two scientific methods to reduce distractions. So the daily life changes you can do in your life to reduce distractions. Number one, if you use a mobile, switch off all the notifications. Switch off all the notifications. You cannot miss anything. You are not so busy of a person that you will be missing. If you don't see a message, something will go haywire. Some companies will shut down. No. Fix a timing. When will you watch see your emails, check your emails? Set a timing. When will you reply to your friends on WhatsApp or on Instagram or whatever social media site you use? Set a timer. Switch off all the notifications. When you switch off all the notification, you are not dragged away. When you set the timer, you are going for that task to complete it. Do you see the difference? When you are dragged away with the help of notification, you are getting distracted. But when you plan and go with an objective in mind that I'll be using it for so much time, I'll have some fun, I'll talk with my friends, you are planning your life. See the difference? That's the number one thing. Second thing which you can do in your daily life, clean your desk properly, because distraction is clumsy as well. The busiest people on the planet, the people with the hardest work on this planet, the CEOs of the company or the presidents, prime ministers of the company, have you seen your desk? Have you seen their desk on the photo? It's completely clean. They have lots of file to take over, but they know if the environment is clumsy, they will get distracted. So keep everything clean. Clean your table, clean your study area, make it clean. What book you have to study, that must only that book should be there. Plan it, what you have to study today, schedule accordingly. Third thing, plan your day in advance. Now, when you plan your day in advance, once you have finished one task, your mind knows this is the next thing you have to do. Because if your mind doesn't know what's the next thing you have to do, distractions are compulsory in that situation. Because if you don't have something to do, your mind will find some pleasures, your mind will look for some dopamine, and hence you will get distracted. These are the three things. The fourth one, and my favorite, and you might get a shock, how is it related to distraction? That is, start appreciating yourself. OMG. How is it even related to distraction? Let me explain. Now, suppose you are a student or you are a working professional and you have to read some books, and if you are a student, you have to study, and you decide to study or read for 2 hours every day. You start today, and at the end of the day, you are only managed to study for half an hour. Now, after you have finished the day, you are going to sleep. What is our general tendency? We will regret that we were not able to finish 2 hours of study or 2 hours of reading. But we will never appreciate ourselves for that 30 minutes, because yesterday we did not study anything and today we were able to add 30 minutes of productive time. We do not appreciate ourselves. What happens exactly? When we start regretting for that 1.5 hour wasted, that complete 30 minutes also is included in the wasted time. Your mind perceives that whatever you did today was a waste of time. Your mind thinks that this activity which was done today is a part of regret. Your mind doesn't feel good, and if your mind is not feeling good, mind will avoid that pain. And the next day, that 1 hour 30 minutes will increase to 1 hour 45 minutes. It will go to 2 hours, but the 30 minutes will not increase to 2 hours because you are not giving that a preference. I hope that makes sense to you. Start appreciating yourself for the 30 minutes. Forget about that 1 hour 30 minutes. Now, when you appreciate your mind for those 30 minutes, 30 productive minutes on studying and reading, your mind now thinks, yes, that was a great thing. Your mind is feeling powerful. You gave a reward to your mind in the form of compliments. Now, mind has got the dopamine. Now, the next day it will look for some more. That 30 minute will increase to 40, 45, 50, 55. Within a week, you might reach to a level of 1 hour as well. Isn't it a good way to start working on what you have decided? Start appreciating yourself. A similar thing happens to some of my students. If they have scored 20 out of 30, I tell them that's a very good marks. But the students get confused. Nobody else tells that. I'm not bothered about what others tell. If you have scored 20 out of 30 and if you cry for that 10 marks, if you feel guilty for the 10 marks lost, what is the signal your mind is getting? That those 20 marks are even worse. So there is a very good amount of possibility that that may go down as well. But if you feel proud, if you give confidence to your mind, if you appreciate yourself for those 20 marks, your mind feels happy and the mind wants some more, and the 20 starts increasing. You start working out more. That's how our mind is programmed, and that is how we avoid the distraction. Because if you give negative stimuli, the distractions are coming to your way. But when you appreciate, the focus is coming to your way. These were 4 things which you can apply in your daily life. That is, turn off all the notification, clean your area where you sit and study, or do whatever you do for your living or for your growth in life. That's the second thing. Third, start planning the day, because when you plan, you have the goal, you have the things to be done in that day. Number 4, appreciate yourself. You are a champion. You are the best. You are an amazing personality. You are the greatest. As I do every day, and I feel super proud about that. Start doing that, my dear friends. Now, after this, let's understand 2 scientific methods to beat distractions and become the winner, because you are already a winner. You are an inspiration. Your life is an inspiration. The number 1 scientific way, it's a Japanese technique which is called Ikigyo Jama. And this technique, do not focus on the meaning of the word or the pronunciation of the word. Let's understand what it is saying. This technique says, whenever you feel you are distracted, you will be unhappy. Now, whenever you feel that is becoming uncontrollable, you have to finish lot of work, there's lot of work pending out, your exams are coming, or your month end is coming, you have to sell so much, if anything is coming in your way, sit down, become aware of your body. Sit, look at your posture, because your posture has a lot to do with how you feel. Correct your posture. Make your surroundings clean. Now, this is the one, awareness of your body or awareness of your surrounding. That's the first thing. Second thing, this method tells you that breathing. Start deep breathing. Breathe in. Deep breathing gives you more oxygen to your body, and while you start breathing, you are giving some time for your brain to relax. When your mind gets some more oxygen, it gets more pure, and it becomes more and more powerful. After that, the third step, close your eyes. Think your mind as an empty, big, long road, and there are a lot of vehicles going comfortably on that road. Think of your mind like that. And then visualize that you are prioritizing which thought, which vehicle to pick up to travel on your road, that is to go in your mind, that is what is good and what is bad. Start prioritizing, and that helps you to get rid of distractions, because all the bad things will come in the distractions, all the good things you will start focusing on. Now, in this case, since you are giving time to yourself to think and analyze what is happening, this starts working. Now, the second and my favorite, almost 90% of the time I do this, 10% of the time I do that Japanese technique. Now, the second technique is called 10-minute rule, and this is given by Neer Ayal. 10-minute rule says, whenever you feel that you are getting distracted, sit down at a comfortable position, sit with your back straight, put a 10-minute timer. Now, question yourself, why are you distracted? If you are studying and your mind is telling that you need a break, ask yourself, why do you need a break? You just had a good amount of snacks, you just have some cold drink or whatever, you just have a pastry. Now, why do you need a break? Ask yourself. And the research says, in this questioning period, by the time you are to the 6th and 7th minute, your mind is calmed down. All the distractions have been evaporated, and you start gaining your focus to do that work, and you become more energetic. So let's summarize the video. The number one thing which you can do, try to experiment that 25 minutes timer to understand how much distracted are you. Second thing you can do is you can follow the daily life 4 things which I told, daily life changes which you can do. And the third thing, 2 scientific methods, the Japanese technique and the 10-minute rule. Whatever you wish, start following today. Because after you are focused, after you have reduced your distractions, your success is patiently waiting for you. You were listening to Inspired Jeevan, because you are an inspiration. Namaste, Shabba Khair, keep smiling, be inspired, and let's inspire lives, my friends. We will meet in the next video with some powerful techniques or a story or some motivation. Thank you.